What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? And what a day in the market we had this morning. Am I right? We had a nice pump fake by Tech. Tech looked like it was really going to rip today, and it tried so hard, but it just seems like rates and inflation is still on people's mind because we stalled the rest of the day. I mean, that didn't stop the market from making all-time highs, but it did put a damper on Tech. But before we get started, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And the big reason I think why this is happening is because we do have the Fed tomorrow and Wednesday, but Mr. Powell himself will come on the horn on Wednesday. So being said, I think with the rates and everything, I think that could be possibly what we are waiting for. But ultimately, everything is very bullish. We got stimulus. I know Biden came on the horn and he talked about taxes. I didn't get all the details about that. But essentially the tax plan and how it's going to essentially feed the infrastructure of this new renewable resources, right, that we've been talking about. But he said, from what I gathered, it wasn't even until like next year before that really starts to even hit. With that being said, you still have a little bit of inflation and everything coming in because everybody's getting ready to go out and start possibly spending money. States are opening up. I know there's a lot of different value stocks that really ran today. Again, Tech wanted to be there. I thought it was in there today, but then it just really stalled. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe we get another little pop, some sideways action until Wednesday. So we'll definitely have to see how that plays out. But let's get to the chart. So today, SPY, it started really selling off her today, but it held well as soon as it played range. To be honest, I didn't actually think it's good to actually, let me calm it down. It's good to see all-time highs, right? We are back in the game. We are back to go to a crazy bull market that I think is about to happen. It was playing range here today. I didn't think we'd actually break out of this range today, but apparently that didn't want to stop SPY at all. Primarily being because, again, rates are holding pretty solid, right? There's no dramatic movement today. It finally just held and was cool with what was going on. I think all the information out there is essentially setting in. People are being comfortable putting their money back in the market. Ultimately, also see Bitcoin drop like crazy over the weekend too. I think that might have been because of the information that India wasn't going to allow Bitcoin. And so I think that's what kind of dropped Bitcoin from that point. But being said, QQQ is actually look primed to start running. It's got the trend line support. It's got all the EMAs. I might get a little dip here overnight and then start pushing up. But being said, I had quite a few scalps today, and I made out pretty well. But being said, I caught Tesla right out the gate. It did dip down. I grabbed it and pulled up. And essentially, I think I got about the 7/8 or so, and I cut out because it was stalling pretty bad at that point. I actually rode it all the way up. I was up pretty big and then came down a little bit. So I gave it just a little back, not a lot, but just enough because I was realizing that it wasn't going to push any further. Then we had the pullback, and then again just stagnant kind of all day. I played Airbnb perfectly too as well. It dipped down in my zone. I bought it, rode it up, sold it back in the zone, again, sideways. These are my two favorite stocks going into the coming months, along with some of the other ones that I like. You know, like Palantir and NMDM are two of the other ones that I really like over the next coming months. And so being said, Airbnb, I'll definitely be scalping it. It's not at a place where I want to just grab leaps and just hold it because it's pushing up higher. Now, if it sold off, it is at a pretty solid support here. Now, if it's sold off and based a little bit, then I would jump into leaps, bigger positions at that point and not scalp it. But being said, Apple, I sold my Apple leap today. When it pushed up, I sold it at the top. Came back down. I debated jumping back into it, but I wanted to see where tech was going. Ultimately, because I wanted to jump back in Tesla, but Being said, actually, I did jump back in Tesla a little later in the day. I scalped a little bit more, but it wasn't much because it just wasn't moving, and I wasn't going to sit there and fight with it. So I typically, when I scalp, I jump in. If it doesn't move within the first couple minutes I'm in, I will typically get out if it's not first thing in the morning. So being said, let's see. Apple is looking good and strong, just like Tesla right now. I think, again, tech is just being held back by what Powell is going to say. Again, I think he's just going to reiterate everything he's been saying, and nothing's going to change. And maybe at that point, by the end of the week, we're really going to rip. I think it's any day now, tech is going to grab its legs. It's been wanting to rip and then just pulls back. So again, I think any day tech is just going to go for it. And then this whole market is just going to run like crazy. Square looking fantastic. I haven't played Square at all, but definitely one at this point is going back to all-time highs here very quickly. Still a good $40 move back to all-time highs because I believe this is going to dip overnight. Facebook still doing really well. I actually wanted to grab Facebook today. It was one of my primaries, but I wanted it back down here at the 266 mark. And opening up, I thought we would have dipped because we opened up down here, but I don't know if there was news that came out that popped it straight up. But Facebook definitely comes back down on basis here because this is a nice support here at this 267 mark. It does come back down there in base, which it might at this point. I'm not really sure. It might be wedging further up here as opposed to where I had that original line. So if it starts basing and comes down, I'll definitely grab back into Facebook. Facebook is a good one to always grab a couple months out because it always moves up pretty good and pretty well. So as long as you can find contracts or shares that don't get chewed up with the whipsaw, then you can definitely make out on those plays. BYND had a nice move. I was actually looking at this yesterday, to be honest, and this morning I was like, well, if it breaks the 200, I'll jump into it. And of course, it broke the 200 when I wasn't paying attention. I was watching Tesla and Airbnb, and it broke that and then took off. So, being said, spots. I did take this today. I did take a little bit of red on this, but like I said, my other positions did so well that it really didn't matter. This was just a small little piece here. It wasn't that much. But being said, if I would have kept it, it would have pushed up. But I didn't like how it was underneath the trend line. I thought I originally broke over it. That's when I got into it, and then it dipped back down, and so I cut the position. But I mean, spot is still got tons of headroom. I think it'll be really good once it actually starts moving. So definitely one I want to keep on watch. Roblox, this is one I'm hoping options open up on this. If it is, this will be one I'll be playing tomorrow. I want to keep a close eye on this one tomorrow if that is the case. But I think it could be good potential in it tomorrow if there are options. If not, I'm not really interested in buying shares at this point, but we'll have to see about that one. Etsy, some of the e-commerce has really been dying. Etsy's been running pretty well. Shop has been doing fairly well as well, but not my primary concern. I think a lot of the e-commerce is going to struggle over the next couple of months just because I think people will find more value in value stocks and the other major leaders in renewables. And yeah, so that's where I think the money's going to go. I don't think it's going to stay in e-commerce. I think e-commerce is going to move obviously with the market, but I think ultimately it's not going to be the major runners. Snap kind of sideways today. I do like the fact that is actually starting to run pretty hard now, starting to push back up nicely. So it'd be good to see this back up and rolling here pretty soon because it's got definitely a lot of headroom to run. Not saying it has to hit 174, but it's definitely got a lot of room to run, at least to 137. There'd be some strong support there to break through even at the 124 mark, but I think good one to keep on watch, that's for sure. Palantir kind of went sideways today. NNDM is kind of looks the same way. It died off and going sideways. I think this is still really strong. One thing I do like about this again is Wall Street Bets. It's kind of been on their hit list as far as like a tech stock as well. So it'd be good to watch this and just to see what happens. I mean, that's not why I took the position. I took the position because I believe in the fundamentals of the company. and where it could be heading. That's why I'm in this position for a swing. But ultimately, I think it helps the fact that Wall Street Bets could be in it, because this thing might actually go parabolic overnight. If it does do that, then I'll definitely be getting out of that position and cashing in. NNDM, same thing. It actually looks like it's pushing up overnight. Still on all my shares in these ones. I haven't. Again, I've eliminated all my options pretty much. I think STPK is the only option I have left at this point. But I do hold all my shares and my commons. So STPK looking good. Again, when the infrastructure stuff starts coming out, which it could be a while before that stuff comes out, but if and when it does, you'll see a lot of these renewables start really running. Fastly looks good. Again, there's still a lot of stuff that looks good. It's just finding it. Tech needs to get out of this fog that it's been stuck in for the past month. So as soon as it does, we'll definitely see some movement here. ALLM. Planet 13 had a nice push up, but did sell off towards the close today. But I think we're going to see some major winning. Again, this is my favorite MJ stock. I think it's got great potential to run quite a bit. So in this, I'm not super heavy in this, but I do have a position and I think a couple of my accounts. So being said, I'd like to ride this out for the next couple of months and see where this one goes. The very good company. It's kind of running in parallel with the MJ space, the Meatless and the MJ space have been kind of running in parallel, which is kind of funny to see. But nonetheless, both look similar. Evogen, I actually tried to get in this one today, but I wouldn't get filled. I did sell my CRNT at a small loss, but I was trying to shift it over to EOVGN, and I missed it ultimately. So it is what it is. If it gaps and runs, it is what it is. NNOX had some news today on just, I think it was just primarily talking about making X-rays cheaper and affordable. So I was actually looking at contracts when it dipped today, but the problem was there was already a 30% move priced in, and so I wasn't going to pay the premium on that and try to ride this up. But could be great potential to watch tomorrow just to see what happens with it. But being said, it wasn't my favorite, so I'm not really upset if I do miss that one. EXPI, it looks great. The setup looks great, like most things right now. I just have to wait out and see how things shift. I know the retail space has kind of been, the real estate sector has kind of been a little sluggish lately, along with tech. So I have to see how that works. Riot, pretty sideways. MP, it's been pushing up pretty nice. I know Enphase has actually been pushing up really nice and starting to make its move back up. TAN could also be another big one too. If we want to talk about infrastructure, I know a lot of people have been jumping back into EVs, NIO, looking nice. All the EMAs essentially over 200 right now. Lucid is actually pushing back up. And fundamental wise, I'm not a huge, I don't like Lucid, but to each their own. NGA is finally moving back up again, which is good to see. Proto Labs actually looks really good, to be honest. This is one of the laggers in the 3D space. I think could possibly get a big move out here. It's just waiting. I know it likes to have these huge rips like this, and then it does have long consolidation periods, as you can see over here. So if you're willing to hold leaps on this guy or shares on this guy, I think it'd be worth your time if you really don't know where else to put your money. I know it cycles, right? And then the 3D space starts to rip and you get some big tears out of it. So I know NNDM is one I do like, but this one, again, has a great potential as well. And I know ARK does have decent sized positions in these ones as well. I think they're in their top 10, some of their indexes as well. Walmart kind of sideways today. The value stocks, it was really just snow today, sideways. Lemonade actually looks really good too. Sorry, I didn't mean to change the topic here, but Lemonade does look good for another big rip. Could be a possibility. One I want to keep on watch tomorrow and see where that goes. Again, it'll be hard because my four primaries are what I'm watching. If they're moving, these will kind of take the back seat to those. Till then, BA has had a major rip, but now it's starting to chill out a little bit. So I definitely want to get back into BA at some point when it does sell off, because we're going to get another sell off in base. When it hits that base again, I want to jump back into BA. I attempt to get into BA again. I don't typically play it. I don't like scalping BA. BA is more of a long-term swing. So you're looking at leaps and shares, in my opinion. Amazon, the whole e-commerce space, I'm not really looking at. Google, it's too stagnant right now for me. E-commerce shop is starting to kind of move with Etsy, but nothing major there. I think Netflix, a lot of stay at home is just going to be kind of, I mean, they're going to move with the market, but ultimately I think they're just going to be kind of hit and a little stagnant, in my opinion. I think you'll get bigger moves out of the value and the tech leaders the next coming months. TDoc, again, another one that looks good if you're willing to hold or invest. Win, nice pop, but going sideways now. CCL, a nice little pop going sideways. WBA, kind of upset. I missed this one. It was at 46. Now it's up to 56. Twilio is actually one I really like and want to keep on watch tomorrow. The prices on it, as far as option prices, are pretty good on this guy. So if it does break above this in this 200 moving average, I definitely want to try to get in this. So this 375, we could break back over that on Twilio. I would love to get in this for some longer options. Probably not leaps, probably looking more like September-ish, July, September calls on this. So I'll have to see how that one plays out. Z, could be good possibilities there. Again, that whole space, I'm not really sure what's going on with that space right now. It's not a space I keep up with, but airlines still pushing. A lot of these are kind of slowly dying out. Stay-at-home plays, I think, are really hurting right now as well. You're not going to get bigger moves. WWE, again, we might get a lot of sideways action in this. If it does break 60, I think it could possibly get some big runs in it as well. AMC had a nice run as continuation. Again, the value play, I think, is there. This isn't totally just manipulated. Yes, it is manipulated now, but I think as a value play, it is definitely one of the front runners, where GME is completely just manipulated. Like this doesn't make sense to me in my mind. So this is just pure manipulation, where AMC is a value plus manipulation. So kind of like a Palantir, I'm kind of hoping Palantir develops into that too. So we get some big run out of it, but I mean, that's not guaranteed. Ultimately, I went in for the long haul. Again, if it has parabolic move, well, then that's something different. But Tilray, MJ Space, it's moving nicely. It looks like it's starting to sell off a little bit here after hours. So we'll definitely have to see how that plays out tomorrow. RE is still pushing hard on this play, on the energy space. Some energy has been pushing, some has not, although there is earnings. So that may be why it's been pushing. After earnings, this guy might actually come back down. So I have to see how that works, how that one will do. Or it may gap up, who knows. See targets, nice sideways consolidation action. Again, I think a lot of these are going to hit. Q scalar, quantum scalar. Could be another good possibility, maybe. SSYS looks like it could be actually really good here. Another 3D printing, another big. I know ARC has a big position in this one as well. And set up nicely. Could get a nice run of this one. I mean, the all-time high was 56. Not saying it would hit it, but the potential is definitely there for this particular 3D printing stock. I think that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, I think my four primaries are Tesla, Airbnb, Palantir, and NDM. or mine. And again, Planet 13 and the Very Good Company. I think those are the ones that I want to stick around with going into the next couple months, as I see a lot of growth and big moves coming out of those particular ones. But being said, that's where my primary focus will be. Again, that's not saying I won't take up random good setups. I think ZM has a good set. There's a couple of them that have good setups, but have to depend on what moves. If one of my major ones aren't moving, yes, I will look for the other ones that are better setups and possibly scalp or whatever the case is. But being said, remember to always manage risk. Again, the market could crash tomorrow. Not saying it will, but just be mindful of your positions, manage risk. And until tomorrow, guys, take care, and I will see you guys later.